Hello, good morning. Welcome to Morning Jams. Today I'm going to clean up a mess I made yesterday and then start working on the web export for GitHub Actions for Godot Games. Okay, so first of all, let's go look at the repo I made yesterday and talk about why I was wrong. So I made this demonstration repository to show a what I thought was a GitHub Actions bug. Um, had a scary feeling in the back of my head that I was missing something, and that ended up being true. But guess what? I learned something, and I was not going to learn this if I didn't share it. So I'm glad that I shared it and let myself be wrong in public. Um, so it turns out I didn't read the documentation very well. If I go click, okay, so the documentation page says this very important line and how you add to the path. So I thought this wasn't working in Mac and Windows, only on Linux. But it turns out it was working just the same on all three, and something else was going on Linux. So the important thing in the docs that I missed was this line right here: the currently running action cannot access the updated path variable. And you can see it if you use echo path, which I did. I was echoing path. I what I didn't do. Let's look at it. So when I looked at the Mac job, the two paths were identical. Boom, boom, those are identical. So that was not being changed. What I didn't do was look at the Linux runner, which also exhibited this behavior. So why did Linux work? Well, it turns out the path I was adding, home.local/bin, was already in there. So Linux worked just because it already worked and I didn't need to do anything. Mac and Windows didn't work because I didn't wait till the next step. Honestly, it's fine. This is how shells work anyway. I just was kind of thrown for a loop. I may actually still file something for GitHub. They they say that thing here, but then I'll just say they missed an opportunity for their example to cover it. Uh, they could show adding to the path, and then they could show it not working immediately, and then they could show another step and it working there, and that would really drive home this fact. They also see here it is. Here they're showing you doing it. They're showing you adding this directory that's already there on Ubuntu. Like, why would you need to add this? It's already there on like the main runner for people. Uh, yeah. I don't want to make excuses. It's I mean, it's tempting to try to protect our own ego here, but I'm just still a fan of like making documentation better, improving things for everyone. So anyway, I may write something up for that. But that's not what I want to work on right now. So I'm going to leave that task here. Write up a recommendation to the GitHub support ticket. And that ticket is still alive over here on the GitHub discussions page. So that's not it. Hmm. Oh, it's still early. There we go. Yeah, so I answered my own question over here and closed the thing, and then they came back and reopened it saying that they are glad that they want it to be there for other people to find. So that's great. So I'll probably reply here and make a recommendation for what they could change in the documentation just so that things are a little clearer for people. Clarity is a big deal with these automation systems that run at arm's length. So anyway, that's that. So yeah, and I'll do that next time. What I want to do is work on web builds for the game. Again, these are actions that I want to make available for anyone, but I'm creating them inside of an existing project for now. Yeah, so we're gonna do a web export. Where's my GitHub? We're here too. Okay, great. The branch is clean. Okay, great. So I'm going to go to project, export. The export dialog comes up. I'm going to add a new export kind for web. Export path. Let's say this is dist, and we'll make a. So does it just make a single .html file? Okay, that's fine. Um, I'm gonna ask it to just make an index.html and see what happens there. Custom template. That's interesting. We might use that later. We'll see. Export icon for desktop, for mobile. Canvas resize policy, progressive web app. Interesting. Lots of fun stuff here. But hey, let's do I have these things named? Lowercase, yeah. All right. I'm gonna name that lowercase to follow the pattern that I've already kind of set up. Runnable, great. Okay, export project. Let's just see what happens. Was that it? Did it happen? I can't tell. Guess we'll go to Finder and see. Let's collide. Gosh. Dist. Oh, here we go. Great. Wow. Yeah. Okay. It actually did dump a lot more files than just index.html. Guessing I can't just open this file. Let's just go ahead and see what happens if I try that. So I'm going to try to open the index.html directly, and it says, hey. Oh, I actually tried to do something. I don't think this will work, though. Yeah, okay. Well, I don't think you can just open the file directly. You need to be running a server, but these are the two things I'm going to have to deal with to get it working. Godot 4 web exports have these extra issues to deal with, which I'm not sure if they're going to work on making that go away or what. But hey, I embrace hurdles because hurdles are a chance for us to fix things for other people or a chance for us to get ahead in a competitive environment, etc. So, not afraid of hurdles. That said, let's get terminal going and start a web server there. Go to my directory. Actually, let's go modify the export template to put it somewhere else. To put it in dist web. Wait, what's happening now? Dist. Is it? Why did it pop this up? Is it because the directory doesn't exist? Great. So now there's a web directory. Yeah, okay. So there, all the files are in here now, which is much better. Called everything index. I kind of feel like maybe it's smart enough. I don't know. I don't know what to think. I'm gonna delete the other ones. Um, let's delete these and change the name of the export to like before worlds collide. Export project. I don't get why that pops up every time. Like I've already specified it up here. Why do you keep asking me? Strange. Does Linux do that? Oh yeah, it does. I guess they all do. Okay, fine. We'll mess with it later. Okay. Okay, yeah, it's just gonna name them all the same thing. That HTML file may need to be specially handled, but we'll see. Dist. Okay, let's go to web. LS. Yes, there's all of our files. And the DS store, of course. Thanks, Apple. And we need to run a web server here. Do I have HTTP server installed? I do not. I think it's npm. Just there's you can install a web server from whatever language you have. Node has one called HTTP server, and I think I can just do npm install HTTP server -g for global. About to find out. Okay, now I'm gonna say okay, reshimming. Okay, ASDF has got me covered. ASDF is how I install things, so that's nice. Which HTTP server? Yes, it's in there now. HTTP server. Won't autocomplete, but that's fine. Hey, look at that. So I think that just opened right in the directory that I'm sitting in. Let's find that out. Visit it, and yes, okay, so it just served up the index because that's just a default thing that it does. And what we want to do is run this file, and there we go. Oh, look at that. It wants a secure context. Ouch. Ouch. That's tough to test locally. It wants cross origin isolation, which is just a header, and it wants a shared array buffer, which is also just a header. So that might be a little more difficult to set up than I had hoped locally, but we'll see. You can see HTTP server. What does it do? CORS is disabled. Auto index, serve gzip, serve Brotli files, default file extension. A little out of my depth on this. I mean, not really. I'm a web developer, but I just need to do a lot of searching around to figure all this out. Let me just think for a moment about the secure context. That is a real bummer if I want to test things locally. I'm actually kind of wondering if Godot does something for this, because I think you can, so I can export them. Can't I, doesn't this like run an export, one of these? One specific scene, movie maker mode. I thought I could like auto export and run fast somehow, but I'm not seeing that. Project export. And I'm just going from memory. I don't remember exactly what happens here. Okay, great. I'm gonna go back to do real quick and just see what I'm thinking. Get the web build working. So the export's fine. It's not throwing errors or anything. That's great, right? Nothing exploding. Oh, pay attention. Nothing exploding. Yep, yep. Um, yeah, okay. Okay, I, I mean, I feel like making it work locally is going to be harder than making it work on GitHub Pages. So, yeah, I don't know. Okay, let's go look at, right. So my export presets, that's all I've changed about the project is I added a new web preset, and you can see that's just appended the config that I set up there to the export presets.cfg. I'm going to go ahead and open, oops, open up the repo. Take this back over here. One open source project at a time, please. Okay. All right, we got new export presets. We've got, okay, this is the platform. Is that right? Platform. That's just the release platform. Okay. Export release, matrix step platform. Okay, yeah. Uh, that's where I can say web. I should just be able to say web right there, and then we'll add the web export version. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, let's do it. Yeah, so I got the new web export, and all I did was simply mention it in my export thing. Add web exports. This is just going to build it. Oh, it's going to build it and upload it as an artifact, because that happens here. Oh, look at that. It's not going to work. It's not going to upload it because it doesn't, because it's not worldscollide.star. It's every file inside the web directory. But that's fine, because is that fine? How do we want to deliver a web export? I don't think we want to deliver one like as a zip file or something. I don't think that makes sense. Anyway, we got a lot to figure out here, and I'm just going to rough it in this morning, and we'll figure it out soon. Well, this is the wrong project. Let me just get back over to my project. Okay, add web exports, great. And a fourth platform has appeared. Oh, it looks like it actually worked. Or I say worked, and what I should say is did not crash. Run, use Godot. Here it's running it, imports all the files, error, project export for preset web failed. Okay. What would be great is an error message. So we got the Blender warning, we got the custom cursor shape warning, we re-imported a bunch of files, and then we just got this. @fs changed. Huh. I don't know. I do not know what it did. That is not a helpful re-import. And I still have an LS in there. That's sort of interesting. I do. Make dir dist. Oh, you know what? Let's do make dir -p dist/web. So it makes both. I bet that's the issue. Make dir -p means don't, like make it deep and don't like dist and web at the same time, and don't fail if it's already there. That kind of thing. Make the web exporter. And actually, folks, that's all the time I've got today. I've got to go get a haircut. Just trying to stream more and more, squeeze a little bit in there and there. Getting uncomfortable to get better, getting better at getting uncomfortable. And real quick, last second before we go, let's watch this thing. Oh yeah, it's still unzipping. Forgot I can probably unzip just what I need. All right, Godot's building. Boom, look at that. Errors that didn't stop it. And I think that did it. Yeah, those are the usual things. The web directory is there. I should have LS the web directory. Upload artifact. No files were found. Yeah, it didn't find any because I didn't list the right thing. So that's fine. Yeah, great. Yeah, and all these labels are starting to get kind of wrong, which is good. The whole point here is to get this working across everything, so I can kind of get my head around everything I'm going to need to have handled, and then I'm going to break this into lots of actions. Lots of actions with inputs so that they can all be kind of configured, cached, versions can be looked up, etc., all separately. So anyway, we're very close to that. The web is the last platform I want to hit before doing that. The last platform that I think is going to have interesting issues, because the way we upload the artifact is going to be different. We're actually going to want to deploy a static site with it. instead of just, I mean, we could also deploy, we could also upload an artifact of a zip file, but it would be cool to just have a GitHub page deploy automatic, things like that. So anyway, cleanup is getting close. I would just like to get through the web export process first. Anyway, that's all the time I've got for today. Appreciate you joining me for the last 20 minutes as we just kind of walk through some quick things. Yeah, thanks for joining me for another morning jam. What did I learn today? Takeaways. What am I doing here? I think I have yes, today's takeaways. Okay, takeaways. 12:20. Oh, I streamed 2 days in a row. Amazing. Web exports hard to test locally. SSL required. Um, Web exports generate multiple files instead of just like one file as the other ones do, and web exports uh, multiple files changes artifact upload a bit. I think I'm being silly. I don't need that /web directory because the other ones aren't being generated in the same directory. That just looked bad to me locally. Yeah, and there's a difference between like building on your local machine versus building for production or whatever. So that there might be some like environment settings to kind of figure out there. Let me just make a note of that. Environment settings. Um, Building locally versus NCI. Differ for building locally versus NCI. All right, I'm going to call that my takeaways for the day. A little weak, a little fast. Yesterday we figured out a bunch of stuff going through my erroneous GitHub discussion error report. But anyway, all right, that's it. See you next time there's a morning jam. Bye.